Hello, everybody. I'll just wait a few minutes, see if anybody comes on. There's Chili. There's Chili. Hello. Hello, Leah. You okay? Hello, Ruby. Hello, Adi UK. Okay, what I'm not going to do is say hello to everybody as they come on. Yeah, that's what happened last time. There was like, yeah, lost my train of thought. Hope everybody's had a good day. Just wait for a few more people so I can talk about my favourite subject. Hello. Just watching Chili. She's playing with a cat in the kitchen. So yeah, everybody give a shout out, say hello. Lots of those thumbs and love hearts and that kind of thing. Chili. Good girl. Good girl. Shut the kitchen door, then there's no cat food stealing going on. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that one. When you're doing stuff, oh, I'll just go and pinch the cat food. Yeah. Just a few more minutes. So we've got nearly 20 people watching, so I'll just give it another literally 20 seconds and then we'll kick off. I have some questions ready because I haven't made any plan. I just want to talk about the thing that I don't often get a chance to talk about, to be honest. It's my sort of passion for going and volunteering. 10 seconds. I've got a glass of wine. I hope nobody minds. It's a Friday night. It's been a long week. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll kick off with just telling you about what I'm doing at the moment, really, which I'm sure people will find interesting, and my background. I'm a qualified veterinary nurse, so I started at the Dogs Trust actually. So I was an assistant kennel manager at the Dogs Trust up in the northeast. So that was 1994 to 1996. I left there. Hello everybody. Oh, I can see people joining in now. Yeah, excellent. I left there after a couple of years working at the Dogs Trust, just because great job, great organisation. I just left because I wanted to do more on the veterinary side. So I actually left to qualify as a veterinary nurse, and that brought me down to the Manchester area. I got a practice place just outside Oldham, near Manchester. I had to wait about 18 months actually to wait for a veterinary nurse training place, because they're pretty rare, and actually they are at the moment still. We've got a massive shortage of veterinary nurses, and I had to wait about 18 months. So I was working in practice as a student nurse, waiting for a place to become available. The previous nurse was finishing her exams. So yeah, as soon as she'd done that, then I could start my course. So Takes 3 years. You can do a 2-year, 3-year or a 4-year. There's a new degree, well, I say new, it's been going 5 or 6 years, degree course in veterinary nursing. So I did mine in 3 years. So I got on the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons Register 2002. So I've been in practice, yeah, well, if you count the Dogs Trust, which we do a lot of veterinary stuff there, obviously with the neutering and dog handling, I've been working professionally with dogs since 1994. So I think I did, a few years back, I did a few calculations of how many dogs I've handled. So yeah, if you, on average, if you're handling 10 dogs, which is kind of the thin end of the wedge every day, times that by 7, times that by 4, times that by how many years, months and then years you've been doing it, then you're racking up thousands and thousands of dogs that you've actually had your hands on. So yeah, and that's where my strong interest in behaviour came from, was from the Dogs Trust, really. Obviously, dogs that end up in rescue, as everybody knows, I'm sure, there's a problem, or there's a mismatch, and then there's a problem, and welfare as well. So yeah, so my passion really lies in owner education, animal welfare, veterinary nursing. I'm so passionate about promoting the role of the veterinary nurse, without a doubt. There's a massive shortage of veterinary nurses, actually. So if anybody wants to, or knows anybody that is thinking about being a vet nurse, then certainly encourage them, because yeah, we're a massive shortage. Okay, so my subject tonight, the last virtual conference I did, first aid, I mean, we'll touch on that, but this subject, actually, I don't get a chance to talk about it much, and I'm pretty passionate about it. I am now. I mean, how it started was about 5 years back. One of my really good friends, who is also a veterinary nurse, actually, she's a Hungarian veterinary nurse. We worked together in Manchester, and because she's got a Hungarian veterinary nurse degree, the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons in the UK didn't actually recognise her qualification, even though it's a 5-year qualification back in Hungary. So she got a little bit bored, really. So she said, I'm going to go off and do some travelling. So she actually went to Asia, and landed at the Soy Dog Foundation. So you've probably heard of the Soy Dog Foundation. So soy means street in Thai. So that's a clue, really, Street Dog Foundation. And that was founded by a couple that came from Leeds, John and Jill Daly. So they actually went over to Thailand to retire, saw the state of the dogs, and the cats as well, and they just had to do something about it. So massive admiration for both Jill and John Daly. They started fundraising to collect the dogs in Phuket, which is where they were, for neutering and general healthcare, and then that grew over the years it's been going, I think 15 years now, into a massive shelter. So one of my best friends, Reggie, she's a Hungarian vet nurse. She went to volunteer at the Soy Dog Foundation for about 2 months, I think, and then came back to the UK. Didn't last very long with us in practice, and said, I've got to go back. So yeah, she went back, and she's been there ever since. So it's nearly 11 years now. She worked her way up to shelter manager, and actually the shelter's so big now that there's loads of roles come up. So 2.5, 3 years back, she sidestepped, and then became sort of outreach manager. So what outreach manager is that you take your team and a pickup truck with all the gear in and do neutering clinics in the environment, out in the environment, and treatments out in the environment, and it is also kind of education as well. So working in the Buddhist temples, teaching the monks how to treat the animals, because if the animals are treated in the environment away from the shelter, it lessens the burden on the shelter. At the moment, the shelter has got 1,000 animals, probably yeah, because that's dogs, 1,000 dogs and about 250 cats, I think. So that is a big shelter. So anyway, Reggie kept messaging me and phoning me, so you must come over, have a holiday, come and spend some time at the shelter. I kept putting it off. Anyway, it came about that another friend of mine, Caroline Griffith, you might have heard of Caroline Griffith, the nutritionist, said I'd love to go over. So yeah, right, we'll go over. And ever since then, it's just, yeah, she told me you'll be addicted, and I was like, as soon as I got home, I was like, I'm going to go back again, like straight away. So over the last 5 years, basically I've been going over 2 or 3 times a year for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. So it depends on work, and it depends on money, obviously, because it's all self-funded. I don't get paid to do this. It's all voluntary. So 5 years I've been going to Thailand, Phuket, and the last 2 years I've actually been going to India. So I actually we did a course in northern Thailand, about 2 hours, a little shelter. It's not open to the public actually at the moment. I think it will be, but at the moment it's quite a new shelter. And it's just changed its name from Bon Jardin Shelter to Jai, which in Thai means heart. So it's in English it's the Heart Street Dog Shelter. So it's about 2 hours northeast of Bangkok. So I spent 2 weeks there, just hanging with the dogs really, and met some great people there from India as well. So I got then, and this is what happens, you see, is they get invited to places. So then I got invited to India. So 2 years ago we spent a good length of time in India. So I was there 3 times in 1 year, 2 years ago. Obviously, I don't want to keep saying because of COVID, but yeah, I mean, it has come to a stop. When I went over, it was a bit of a culture shock. Let's start with Thailand. I mean, it was a bit of a culture shock. I was lucky that I had somebody there on the ground already that had been there already 5-6 years, because I was very lucky. I was front line straight away at the Soy Dog Foundation. Introduced as a UK veterinary nurse, and with a strong interest in behaviour. So straight away I was given jobs to do and little roles and staff training. It was actually pretty amazing. So as I'm talking, what I really want you to do is kind of jump in with some questions. You know, as I'm going along, I want you to ask questions about my experiences. Hopefully you've seen, I tried to the last couple of days is put some photographs and videos on, which I can't show on here now, is some of the sort of footage that I experienced. So if we move from the Soy Dog Foundation, which is a great shelter, that's probably a really good starting point if anybody wants to go and do anything like this, because it's pretty organised, you know. If you're scared of going or a little bit nervous, I don't know what to expect, probably the Soy Dog Foundation is probably a really good starting point. Because the reason why I wanted to talk about this tonight was because I really want to inspire people into, especially pet professionals, dog professionals in particular, to go out there and experience it, because what you'll learn, I'll come into that later, but what you'll learn and what you experience is life-changing. You know, it's too easy sometimes to sit in our country and complain, what I don't want to go down the route of we shouldn't be importing all these dogs. There's pretty minimal dogs actually coming over from Asia, to be honest. We have a lot of Romanian dogs and sort of Eastern European dogs. But what I don't want this to turn into is a discussion about why these dogs are coming over, and we've got enough of our own rescue dogs. I know we have. I'm not here to endorse dogs coming over. That's a whole different discussion. All right. So what I want to talk about is these countries need education from the ground, all right, from the ground up. So what the whole reason for this talk, although, you know, I want to give you my experiences, is to actually, all you dog experts out there, you've got so much to share, so much knowledge. Get over there. And it doesn't have to be as far as Asia. You know, it can be in Eastern Europe. You know, it can be in Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, where all the problems are. All right. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not easy because a lot of it's cultural, and this is where we're coming to with Thailand. It's very, very cultural, but we have so much to offer with skills. Is that it's easy to sit and, you know, on our keyboards and say, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing that with that dog. You need to get over there and share your experience, and help. That's what it's about, is help. Actually, you know, share your knowledge, share your handling skills, and any knowledge you've got. I mean, I'm kind of double-ended really. I've got my RVN qualification, which drops me straight into theatre. You know, as soon as they know a UK veterinary nurse is coming, they say, right, okay, you need to be in theatre, all right. But from a behaviour side, now I don't say I'm a behaviour. I say I'm a behaviour advisor. You know, I'm a bit long in the tooth now. If 10-15 years ago, I would have probably gone down the degree route. But you know, I don't think you know, people like myself, and there's probably hundreds and hundreds of us that have got such really good practical experience. You know, I can get that Rottweiler out that gate, you know, and we shouldn't be poo-pooed because we haven't got a degree. Sorry, just put that out there. Yeah, we're really good dog handlers. So that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to go out is to push myself. These are not easy dogs to deal with. They are difficult dogs. I'm trying to okay, let's start with the Soy Dog. I moved from the Soy Dog Foundation because it's a big organisation, and I just wanted to maybe help the smaller shelters. So I moved from there to helping with the government dog pound. Now then, this is completely another league, all right? Throughout Thailand, there are government dog pounds. These are not shelters. These are where the government has rounded up dogs from problem areas. Maybe a member of the public has made a complaint about one dog or two dogs, or a little group of dogs on the beach. What happens is the government use that as an excuse to maybe round up 100 dogs in that area, whether they belong to somebody or whether they have feeders, and they end up in a government dog pound. All right, they don't match these dogs. It's, oh, that dog might get on with that dog. You know, these are government dog pounds where there is 1,000 dogs, 2,000 dogs, 3,000 dogs. It is not pleasant. The one in Phuket, there is 1,000 dogs. The one in Phuket is lucky because they have an overspill of volunteers from the Soy Dog Foundation. So volunteers at the Soy Dog Foundation get an opportunity, or did get an opportunity, I'll go into that in a short while, to go to the government dog pound. It is explained to them strongly that it's not for the faint-hearted. The dogs can be problematic. You could be bitten. There's lots of dog fights. These dogs are in runs of 100, 150 at a time. There's basically 6 big runs with 150, 200 dogs in. Generally, people that come from Soy Dog maybe coming just to walk the dogs, pal up with the dogs, be nice to the dogs, which is great. We always need people like that. They will not be allowed into the main runs. They'll be allowed to help with the older dogs, the puppy runs, the adolescent dogs, etc. So I was in a lucky position with the Soy Dog Foundation having permission to go into the government dog pound and treat the unwell. There's like a hospital run. Most of those injuries actually for dog fights. So my job when I'm there is I tend to go for a week at the government dog pound. start at 8 in the morning, finish at about 5. It's sweltering heat. It's not easy. The dogs have to be restrained. These dogs will bite. They have to be muzzled. Usually using, in this country we use the Baskerville muzzles. You can't get a Baskerville muzzle near them. You have to use the slip lead. So you slip lead them and then you wrap that around the muzzle quickly, get the job done, blah, blah, blah. It's not easy work. So at the moment, the problem with the government dog pound is that they have actually restricted volunteers going in. We've got CJ, are they run by volunteers? The government dog pounds generally are run by government employees. So the one in Phuket basically is 1,000 dogs at the moment. There's maybe 3 or 4 permanent staff, and that is to literally clean and feed. That's it, nothing else. They don't even touch the medical side. So Soy Dog go in. Soy Dog have only been allowed to go in for 2 weeks at Christmas. Soy Dog have not been allowed to go in since Christmas. At the moment, the COVID thing is an issue, definitely. So it's all a bit, nobody quite knows what's going on, but it's very difficult to get in there at the moment. Lizzie says, education is a huge issue. I work with rescuers in Cyprus and Romania occasionally, and even the lack of spaying and knowledge. Dogs being left in kennels, etc. There needs to be a huge culture change. Knowledge is power to a lot. Use it to somebody else's benefit. Yeah, culture. As you can imagine, in Thailand, culture is ancient. It's a Buddhist. It's 70%. I don't know what the ratio is. I can't remember because you've got a Muslim part as well. But it's a pretty strong Buddhist ratio. And obviously they don't believe in neutering. They don't believe in euthanasia. That's another issue. The euthanasia issue. There may be a dog that needs to be euthanized. Catastrophic injuries, etc. No, Michelle, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not a kill shelter because it's a Buddhist country. They do not believe in euthanasia. So unless the dog is very, very, I think I've only, in the 5 years that I've been there, I think I've only seen 2 dogs euthanized. And both of those were paralysed from road traffic accidents. So it's not a kill shelter because of the Buddhist religion. And that's what makes it difficult as well, is seeing dogs suffering need to be euthanized. And so even though 10 minutes ago I said trying to encourage people to go over to volunteer, it's not easy. It's physically hard work, but also it's emotionally hard work as well. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, the Asian street dogs. From the Soy Dog, I kind of, as I said earlier, I moved to the more difficult ones, so the government dog pound, and also a lovely little shelter on Koh Lanta Island called Lanta Animal Welfare. So that's another lovely little shelter. If anybody wants to cut their teeth on working with street dogs, then that would be a really good starting point. Either the Soy Dog or Lanta Animal Welfare on Koh Lanta Island, which is the next big island down from Phuket. So it's an easy get to really from Phuket. Flying to Phuket Airport, then down Phuket Island, and then it's a speedboat across 3 hours by speedboat across to Koh Lanta Island. It's a lovely shelter. They have about capacity, there's only 42 dogs. At the moment they've got like 10, 12 dogs because of COVID. And the problem is at the moment all the kind of tourist trade is died. So there's no visitors coming to the shelter. That means no donations, etc. So you can imagine the knock-on effect from that. CJ, what is the culture view regarding dogs? Thailand, there is a Muslim part as well. Not really up on the religion side, but Muslims obviously do not like the dog, so there's a problem there. Buddhists, although Buddhists, you know, dog is one of the spirit animals, that doesn't mean that they're trapped brilliantly well. You know, just look at the elephants as well. Elephants is a spirit animal, but just look how they're abused in Asia as well with the elephant shows and things like that. So it doesn't mean that they're all going to be trapped well. But like any country, there's good and bad. You know, there's people that Thai people are absolutely passionate about the dogs. Don't get me wrong, they are. It's a mix, as it is in this country. In India, it's a little bit different. They don't like them being called street dogs. They're called village dogs. They're community dogs. So it's a little bit different. When I went to India, the reason why I went to India actually, apart from the invites from the people that I met in Thailand, was 2 years. I always miss a year because of COVID, but it's 2 years ago now. My other half, Rob, had some dentistry done in Bangalore, so I've got friends in Bangalore that I've got a big shelter. So while he was having his dental work done, I was working in the shelters. So that was more of a veterinary role actually, because the road traffic accidents were pretty high. You're probably looking at maybe 10, 12 road traffic accidents a day, and they're very, very rudimentary veterinary equipment, so very old, like 1960s X-ray machine, and most of it, no fixations, no orthopedic surgery. It was just splints and bandages. So yeah, so I spent a week doing that. I just redressing, dressing. So yeah. The culture is very, very different. It is definitely a culture shock, without a doubt. As regards to behaviour, I think you will learn an awful lot about dog body language. I mean, I tried to. I did put some videos on my event, so if you haven't seen them, then do go back. We definitely see very clear signs of aggression, food, guarding, play. It's actually pretty fascinating. So have a look at those videos. If anybody wants any links to any of these shelters, then please do ask, because what I'll do, I'll put the links on, and if you want to look at their Facebook page or anything like that, that'd be really good. Alright, can anybody see Wisp? Wisp is my older dog. She'll be 12 in July, so you see, she always sleeps like that. Where Chili is, or Chili's behind me. Sorry, I just had to point Wisp out there. So Wisp, I mean, she's retired now, but she helps me with all my first aid workshops and what have you. Cost-wise, let's say you can get a flight to Bangkok. What I'm not going to do is keep saying other side of COVID. Yeah, so just imagine COVID's not happening. Right. You can get a flight for like £500 to Bangkok, and then you use internal flights. So a flight from Bangkok to Phuket, for example, is about an hour and 20, and you might get one for £35. It's really easy to get around. And the good thing about Thailand is that there's lots of downtime. You know, you don't have to continually work. You could say, well, I'm going to work 3 days at the shelter, and then have 2 days having a bit of a tourist thing. You know, it's a beautiful country. You can hire a boat and go out to go to the islands, PP Island, James Bond Island. You can go snorkeling. Yeah, it's such a great country. Food's amazing. It's cheap. CJ, can you help if you're not medically trained? Yeah, of course you can. You know, if you've got a strong interest in dogs, you know, a lot of the shelters just they need people to sit with the dogs and talk with the dogs and stroke the dogs and be pals to the dogs. You know, you don't have to be that, oh, I need a vet nurse, or I need to be a vet. You don't, honestly. You can go over and be a dog sitter. You know, these dogs, I know I mentioned aggression earlier on, but some of the majority of the dogs are really good, and they just love human you know, company really, and they just love to go out for a walk. And but if you want to be challenged, then you know you just say, oh yeah, you know, this is great, but maybe a bit more challenging dog. Can I train a dog to do something? You know, yeah. I mean, I was teaching clicker training, so I put a video on teaching some of the sort of younger volunteers, the timing with the clicker training, you know, the bounce of the tennis ball. What else have I taught? About 4 years back with the Soy Dog Foundation, they've built the first street dog dedicated hospital. And this is like an amazing hospital. And they actually have built a little like hydrotherapy suite. So it's actually quite a small room. It should have been a little bit bigger, but they've got a hydrotherapy treadmill in there. So one of my really good friends is a hydrotherapist, and her hospital that she worked at actually donated 3 days training. So I was allowed to go for 3 days, and she would train me in hydrotherapy treadmill, just the basics, how the machine worked, how to clean the machine, and just basic programs, because a lot of the injuries that the street dogs get from road traffic accidents, so you get lots of fractures, femoral head excisions, spinals, etc. So yeah, I spent 3 days learning on the basics of the hydrotherapy treadmill, and then I went over to the Soy Dog Foundation and spent 3 weeks training the staff how to use their hydrotherapy treadmill. Yeah, I loved it. It was great. Language barrier is a bit of an issue, obviously, but Google Translate was amazing. Most of the ground staff at the Soy Dog Foundation are actually Burmese. They're from Myanmar. So it's an extra language problem. So the young guy that was in charge of the physio at that point was a young man who was actually started off as a builder at the Soy Dog, building the Soy Dog hospital, and then they were offering jobs to work with the dogs, and he went for that and got it, and he absolutely excelled. And this is where you've got natural talent. You know, he was not trained. He was from the wilds of Burma. He spoke no English, but his natural ability with dogs was absolutely out of this world. It was just natural, and he took to the hydrotherapy within minutes. You know, it put some people in the UK into a cocked hat. Honestly, his handling skills, his dedication, his connection with the dogs was absolutely out of this world. So yeah, I mean, he's gone really far. He's part of the outreach team now. He's moved on from the hydrotherapy into the outreach team. But yeah, I spent 3 weeks doing the hydrotherapy training. Other stuff that I've done on Koh-Lanta is to teach some Tellington Touch. So this is the basics, you know. Yeah, somebody reported me to the Tellington Touch committee for teaching Tellington Touch out in Thailand. It was like block. How ridiculous. Yeah, what they weren't getting was that, you know, these are street puppies. It was on puppies actually, just teaching really basic ear slides and you know, tail massage and things, just to get them a little bit looser, so they would be happy, you know, being in for interaction with humans. It's in their benefit that they're a little bit more sort of want to be with humans because they're going to get rehomed then. If they sit fearful in the back of the kennel and they don't get rehomed, and then that's no life for them. So yeah, the person that reported me was missing the point. Sorry, I won't dwell on that. I was just really annoyed, really upset. That as you know, that I'd self-funded all this and passed all my knowledge on, just to be pulled up. But anyway, it was all sorted. But yeah, Tellington Touch goes a long, long way. Definitely. Hydrotherapy in the pool actually was really useful in India, because one of the shelters in India had a pool that wasn't really being used, because they didn't know how to use it. And when they did use it, they showed me how they used it. And actually, they had the dogs in the pool and on a rope and pulling the dogs around, these paraplegic dogs pulling them around the pool. I was like, no. So I got in the pool and showed them how to use it. So the leads were off, and put them in harnesses and just showed them how to do a little lab. And that's actually the photograph on my the header on this event. Yeah, is me teaching the Indian staff how to use the pool properly. Diane, I'd go if it wasn't for the insects. Now, yeah, there are a lot of insects. So if you've got a problem with insects or snakes, actually, yeah, you might have to work on that first. You've got spiders, cockroaches, on all the lizardy type stuff. So geckos. I mean, you get those in Europe, don't you? If you go to any European, Spain, you get geckos and things like that. So yeah, you'd have to mentally prepare you for that. I've just had a friend actually who's got a shelter, another shelter in Phuket. Tina. She's Australian, but she's had a shelter, I don't know, 15 years in Phuket, and she's got about 120 dogs. One of her dogs actually was bitten by a cobra yesterday. So yeah, he's pretty critical at the moment. So these are the things that you see as well. These are the things that I wanted to be challenged, is the things that you don't see in the UK. So monkey bites, snake bites. You get adder bites in this country. It's nothing compared to your vipers and your cobra bites in Asia. It's a different kettle of fish. Gunshots, machete wounds, lots of road traffic accidents. So it really, really challenged me. And then, I'm asked questions. I'm asked, oh, how do we do this? How do we do that? And you just get this. You just get all this knowledge that's been kind of stored in the back of your brain come to the forefront. Say, oh yeah, I know how you do it. I know how you need to do that. I can help you with that. I'll write a program for that. I'll teach your staff how to do that. So I'm giving loads as well. And that's the thing, is you give loads, but you also learn so much as well. First thing is you learn how to not get bitten by a street dog. Helen, I think it's a must for me to look into. Yeah, definitely. You'll get so much out of it. How do you stop your heart breaking when you leave? Do you follow your dog stories? Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, once I'm back in the UK, any dogs that I've met, I tend to follow the stories. It's difficult with the government dog pound because it's a completely different setup. These are not. These are the dogs in the Phuket government pound are being chosen for their suitability to be rehomed. So they're actually either being rehomed directly from the government pound, or they're taken to Soy Dog and then rehomed from there. But some of the dogs in there are just not suitable for rehoming. It's very, very difficult. You would not have those dogs in a home. The feral, So the shelter that I'm helping at the moment, called Lanta Animal Welfare, we probably have 4 or 5 dogs come to the UK every year, maybe. And I'm helping one at the moment, actually. I posted him today, called Pixel. So yeah, he's a lovely dog. He was brought in to the shelter age 4 months. I think there was a couple of litter mates what's a common scenario is that parents or the adult dogs get poisoned and leave the litters, the puppies. So then, if they're lucky, then a shelter will pick them up. So they've been sort of reared at the shelter, so a little bit institutionalised. But he is a lovely dog. People took him on, but it didn't work out. They're not always easy, you know. Anybody that works with Romanian dogs and what, it's not easy, you know. They're not your cuddly golden retriever. They're cuddly, sorry, they are cuddly, but they have high prey drive and they take off and all that kind of thing. But yeah, if you get your head around that, then so he's in a foster home at the moment. So I'm actually helping him remotely. We have. For the first 3 weeks we were having daily Zoom, even if it was just for 10 minutes, what now, how things going, blah blah. But yeah, he's doing really well. So whoever chooses him, they'll have the work cut out. But yeah, he'll be a lovely dog. So yeah, I do keep in touch, and I'm the behaviour advisor for Culanta Animal Welfare, and any others that want to kind of, Rich, you know, I've got this issue, so you want to do this and this. No instant fixes, as it is with dogs in this country, really. So yeah, how do you stop your heart from breaking? It's more when you're there. I think it's more heartbreaking actually when you're there than when you come home. It's really difficult to explain. And what I'm saying is that you have to be a certain constitution, you know, to go out there. And do a good job. You've just got to get on with it. You can't be going you know, crying all the time. You know, these dogs don't need that. They need some practical help, you know, and especially with the veterinary side. So do some dogs end up in the they'll stay there. They'll stay there basically. They do have disease breakouts, so parvo being one, but distemper being the other. You know, I don't know when I last saw a distemper case in the UK, but yeah, every time I go to Asia, you see distemper a lot. Yeah. Davina, hello Davina. I keep saying need to come out. Yeah, definitely come out. I keep saying to everybody, yeah, come out, let's go out. You know. Because I say we have some good downtime, you know. The beach is there, and the food's amazing. The mojitos are amazing. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I don't like to come home, to be honest. Once I'm home, I'm all right, but then I want to go back out. So I've really missed it this last year. I was supposed to go to Beijing actually last March. Just as COVID was breaking, to teach them first aid. So that was really good, but missed it. But it's going to be rescheduled. Yeah, it's going to be rescheduled. But yeah, what happens is it opens up the world to you. If you've been out there once or twice, you meet all these other people from all over the world, and then you get invites. So I've got a list that long. I've got Sri Lanka. I've got like another 5 areas of India. I've got another 4 areas of Thailand. I've got the other side of the world. I've got Peru, although I've already been to Peru, but that was holiday. But yeah, it opens up so many avenues for you. But I just can't get across how emotionally fulfilling it is. And that's why if you're on my Facebook, I keep kind of sharing all my old videos and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I shared yesterday with the Tellington Touch band on the Indian dog. That dog, which is common, is it had got a tick-borne fever, so it affects neurologically. They do get better, but while they're going through this fever, they are ataxic, so they can't keep the balance. So we put a Tellington Touch wrap on it. And it was just one of those things, isn't it? It was like, I'm going to try that. Because you're in that situation where you can, I'm going to try that. See if it works. You know, with no criticism. You know what it's like in the UK, all the dog things, you can't do that, and you're not qualified to do that. Well, I'm going to try it. because it's for this dog's benefit. I don't care. Report me to whoever you want. If this dog will die or this dog needs a better quality of life, I'm going to do it. All right. So we put a little wrap on it, and you've seen the video before and after. Dog's walking 40% better. You know, that's for that dog's benefit. And they learned, the staff from there learned from that, and they use it on their neurological cases. You know, you've got little puppies like that have been run over. You know. Yeah, that's what counts, is that little puppy there, not the politics. That little puppy needs some help, and if that little Tellington Touch Wrap helps it, then that's what it's going to get. All right. Una, interesting you say about the dog's best interest, the feral dogs who aren't suitable for rehoming. Here we're seeing so many of these coming over. Do you see that changing? We always see dogs being homed in pet homes. Will we see that in terms of theirs? No, but yeah, definitely. This is the sad part, isn't it? Is that we are seeing lots of unsuitable dogs coming over, and that puts a tarnish on the dogs that are really nice. You know, maybe the 10% of dogs that have been ex-street dogs that are suitable, that will just go, yeah, I live in a house now. There are those dogs, you know, that go, yeah, I live in the UK now, and yeah, I live in a house, and I'm not bothered, you know. But a high proportion of those dogs are just not suitable, and that's the sad thing. And for me, it's one from one prison to another, isn't it? Whose responsibility is that? Is that, you know, people bringing them over? Is it the rescues, irresponsible rescues, making money out of it? That's what's happening. That's what's happening. But then we've got a massive problem here with the puppy farms. You know, I'm in practice now. I've been in practice full time. I normally work practice part time, and so I've got so many other things on the boil. But yeah, I've been in practice now since July. Every day, I would say, every day we have a puppy in for second vaccine that has come from a dealer or from a puppy farm, without a doubt. So for me personally, it's getting worse, not better. So we all should be sticking together. None of this backbiting and bickering that's going on in the dog world. Come on, you know, let's help these dogs. Let's pull together and help these dogs, no matter where they're coming from. Just you know, education, help. Yeah. Leah, sold. Are you coming with me? Yeah, if anybody wants any kind of insight into knowledge and how to do it, you know, I've only touched part of the world. You know, I've been to Thailand and India helping street dogs. There's a whole world out there. There's a whole world of dogs that need help. You know, tonight's talk is just my tiny little bit, my experience. I haven't even touched. Yeah, spay and neuter, that's it. I mean, and when I go over, I say, right, when I go over, now I need to go on a neutering clinic. So that's really good, CJ, because it's just reminding me about the neutering clinic. It's massive, you know. That's what's going to help. And again, yes, you would need to be medically trained to go into that. Again, it's not easy. You know, in normal practice, we might do. I'm only in a little practice, really small team. We're a really great team. In Stockport, but we might do a couple of bitch spays a day, maybe a bitch spay and 2 cat castrates, or 2 cat spays, 2 cat castrates and a bitch spay. You know, it's fairly, but over there we're doing 40 or 50 a day between 9 and 3. That is a lot of neutering, and they're very quick. You have to be on the ball. It's not for the shy. The dogs have got to be prepped on the table. Quite often the dogs are sharing anaesthetic machines, So you've got, and I've got photographs of me doing it, where you've got an anaesthetic machine, you've got a dog either side. So you're watching for that one, maybe showing signs of, ooh, yeah, I'm waking up a little bit, and you've got to take the anaesthetic gas from that dog to that dog till that one goes deeper, and then you're swapping backwards and forwards to keep them asleep, all right? And then one might be a bitch, one might be a dog, so obviously the dogs are quicker than the bitch spays, so then you've got that to juggle. So yeah, that is, the first time I did that, I was like, wow, but then second time, easy. You know, it's just getting into that mindset. And there are many differences in Asian street dogs, say, to the European dogs when adopted and their requirements. I don't think so. They've all been, you know, as far as we know, they've all been free roaming. So the biggest issue is confining them. Yeah, confinement's a big issue, and then it's misdiagnosed as separation anxiety when actually what it is confinement anxiety, because they're entrapped. Yeah, so I don't think there's that much difference really. Food aggression, I think maybe food aggression and stranger aggression. Personally, I see higher in Romanian dogs or Eastern European dogs. Davina, I was supposed to be going to Romania in May last year to help Spain new to drive, supporting the vets and our pet on the rescue, but obviously, yeah, so hopefully next year, I was supposed to do a Romanian one as well, but yeah, and as I say, I was supposed to be teaching in Beijing as well, but that was all kiboshed. Yeah. So just to kind of recap really, what I learnt was dog handling skills, although I'm a very good dog handler as it is, being a veterinary nurse for 25 years. Capture, so catching dogs on slip leads and that kind of thing, how they react. Handling for medical treatments. I was actually, and I still think about it to this day, the last time I was at Government Dog Pound, the main volunteer, who's a British girl, she says, look Rach, my mum's here and I've hardly seen her. Can I put you in charge for 2 days? Can I have Thursday and Friday off? And I was like, whoa, yeah, of course you can. So actually I was looking after the 1,000 dog Government Dog Pound, and that means fights and deaths and everything. It was challenging, but it was great to be. I felt honoured that she felt that she could trust me to actually look after the Government Dog Pound shelter for 2 days. Well, she had some time with a mum. Yeah, that was like, yeah, that was amazing. Helen, I'm hoping to go to China. I missed out last year too. For the others you mentioned, I'm really interested too. Yeah, honestly do it. So yeah, what I've learnt was all the dog handling skills, the medical stuff, you know, and this is hopefully what brings to my canine first aid workshops, is that I'm not a normal canine first aid tutor. Right? First of all, I've had 25 years in veterinary practice in this country, but also I've seen things that you just don't see in this country, from the volume of road traffic accidents to the machete injuries to, I don't want to go too grim, sorry, to monkey bites, to gunshots, you know, to strangulations, to cobra bites, everything. Obviously we don't get that in this country. But what I'm trying to do with my first aid course is to bring that volume and that passion and that experience to my first aid courses. So there's tons of first aid courses out there, but I just want to be that extra special, and the way that I do mine is I bring all that footage and those real cases to my courses, and we chat like I'm chatting to you now. Oh, this happened and this is what and there's a picture. You know, they're not these diagrams and little pictures on PowerPoints. So yeah, just to finish off really on the first aid, is that very shortly the off-qual level 3 is already launched, but the level 4 is going to be launched next week. This is the first real qualification in canine first aid, Ofqual, so it is a regulated qualification via iPet Network. I've been the person that's helped them sort of sign off the content. Even though the criteria is there, we can run our own, the way that we run it, we can run our own PowerPoints and what have you. So yeah, mine's going to be hopefully more kind of interesting than the average first aid course. So yeah, if you want to know anything more about that, then drop me a line. Hopefully we'll be travelling the UK with that, the level 3 and the level 4 Ofqual. Obviously the attendance, you can come along as an attendee and just get a certificate of attendance, and that's fine, you can sit in and do that, that's absolutely no problem. But yeah, if you want to do the qualification, there's some extra hours that you have to do and what have you. Davina, I love your courses, your passion shows through them and brings so much information to dog owners and professionals. Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, is that combination of being in IVM for 25 years and all this experience abroad as well comes, and then it just shows us. Yeah, hopefully. So we've got 4 minutes. Any more questions? Anything anybody wants to ask? I've kind of waffled and I didn't really have a plan. I just thought I'll just talk about what I've done. And I've only touched like 10% of it. Yeah. Oh, there's Chili. Having a bit of a wander. Oh, here she comes. Can you say hello? You coming up? No. Come on, pop. Come in. Come in up. No. Right. Any other questions before we finish? We've got 2 minutes. My old girl Wisp. Anybody else? So I think we've got a team going, haven't we? We've got Leah, we've got Davina, Helen. Maybe we can go a girls' trip to Thailand. Yeah. Have some mojitos. They're always large mojitos as well. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Yeah. I'm just kind of waffling really, but yeah, have a look at my event page, you know, the event thing, because I've put some videos on there actually. So any ideas when we back travel the country? Well, I think, I'm going to wait till I've had my vaccine. It shouldn't be too long because I'm of that age. It shouldn't be too long. And it was May the 17th, a bit of a date, I think, for teaching. I've just booked one for the end of May over in Humberside. So, yeah, so it'll be taken off again. This is at the level 4. Yeah, brilliant, Helen, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's over a weekend, it's a 2-day, yeah, the level 4. We haven't got any costs or anything yet, but yeah, that'll be really good. Okay, we've got 1 minute. I better go because that gives time for the next person. I've not seen any of these talks yet, so I need to probably will catch up over the weekend. But honestly, thank you so much for tuning in. It's really difficult to kind of explain what's happening without the visuals, but hopefully if you go into my event page, I've put some visuals and some videos of what to expect. But you can just come and walk the dogs and cuddle them. It's fine. I just like to challenge myself and hope I don't get bitten, basically, by a dog or a cobra or a scorpion. I've got a really good video of a scorpion. We nearly got by a scorpion. Okay, right, I better go. All right, okay, honestly. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.